Hey everybody, it's Eduardo Jackson, creator, founder, CEO of Cinema Draft, the game, your weekly obsession. Man, I could use a good movie to see this weekend. Unfortunately, especially when you're in my business, I've seen everything. So I'm looking forward to digging these call sheets, going over a little bit of game theory and strategy, maybe even a few best practices. I think we have some new players this week. Very exciting, great turnout. I appreciate it. One of the better turnouts we've seen recently. And we'll start with the feature presentation. We'll go to the top and check out some of these call sheets, some of these new players in the mix. And first, let's start with, let's start with our returning champion, Jay Devlin, gunning for an unprecedented four-peat. Everyone's out to stop him. Maybe that's what drew everyone out this week, was everyone's out to stop Jay Devlin from getting 4 straight feature presentation wins in a row. If you haven't seen our Instagram, our social media, especially on Instagram, he's a little chesty. He's feeling himself, he's the cock of the walk these days. Can't blame him. If you win, win. And if you go to @play cinema draft on Instagram, you can see some cute little comments from Jay Devlin in some of our posts. He's up for the challenge, let me tell you. He's up for the challenge. So we're looking at this call sheet, and he is all in on rings. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got a 7 stack of rings, almost a max stack. A max stack, for those of you new to the game, is when you have the most allowed of one actors in one film that you can have on a call sheet, which would be 8, because you must, of course, have at least one actor from each of the 3 release types. So the most you can stack, a max stack, would be 8 actors from a film. He has a 7 pack, including the 2 headliners, of course. And I believe the rationale is thus. So this has been kind of a hard weekend to figure out on in some cases, only because it feels like a flat weekend. And what I mean by flat, it means that the box office is going to be fairly spread out and evened out. There's not going to be one runaway hit like we've been used to seeing in past weeks. So for example, so for those of you watching on YouTube, this is the pro.boxoffice.com, their weekly projections and their weekend projections, and basically, and they've been known to be wrong. Trust me, these are by no means, the 10 Commandments or anything, but it's not written in stone. But it does give you a good idea of what people are thinking, what the general sentiment is, what possibly even the studios are thinking. Until we get to a place where we'll have access to, like the really expensive studio system marketing and marketing tracking and everything like that, our best bet is just to look at pro.boxoffice.com each week to see what, what some of the pros are thinking. And so what they're thinking is that Split is going to lead the weekend at 13.5 million, Rings at 10.5, A Dog's Purpose 9.7, Hidden Figures at 9.1, and La La Land rounding out the top 5 at 8.8 million. So in a landscape like this, where the only big performer of the new releases is going to be Rings, it's going up against, a third weekend of Split, which, quite honestly, once again, I've seen this movie. It's a fun movie. People are enjoying it. The word of mouth is strong. I think we really won't get an idea of how Rings is performing until we see the cinema score from Friday night. So for those of you who really do want to sweat the box office, Google up the cinema score, see what the sentiment is, see what the word of mouth is, because in cases like these where the movies are fairly genre based, I mean, they'll have like a built-in following regardless, but genre film people turn out for their films, but whether it expands past that niche, that genre base, is what I'm interested to see. And usually, expanding past a genre's conventions and its target market usually depends on word of mouth, which is what we're seeing here with Split. So this is a very solid call sheet. I like most of it, except at the platform release here with Father Never Bothered. Although Father Never Bothered did do monster box office for its platform release status, I do believe and it's on 312 screens, so it's at the topper end. It's topper end. It's at the top end of the platform release category. Still, this is the one I think we need to pay attention to, Race, because Race was on about 70 less screens, and it made about $1 million more. And one thing for players who are new to the game, who really want to get up on the strategy, one thing I study a lot when I'm constructing my call sheets is per screen average, because and a lot of times you'll see really high per screen averages on films that are on just a handful of screens, like as you're watching here on the YouTube, The Salesman or Confidential Assignment. Those all have 5-figure per screen averages because they're only on 3 and 2 screens respectively. But when you get into wide releases like Split that are leading other wide releases in per screen average, that's what you want to pay attention to. Split with 8,000 per screen on almost 3,200 screens, that's a pretty telling indicator. So you have to assume that if we're doing the basic math, we have to assume that if a movie is going to decline, generally, studios brace themselves for declines of anywhere from 40 to 50% each weekend, and Split actually only dipped 35%, so it held 65%. That's a really strong hold in its third week, I think, third weekend. So going into it is second weekend. Anyways, going into this third weekend, Split, if you assume like a 40% drop from the 25 million it earned last weekend, 25.6 million it earned last weekend, minus a 40% drop, then you're still looking at 15 million, which I might add outpaces any of the projections on this sheet from Pro Box Office, from Box Office Pro. So I'm big on Split this weekend. Well, let's get to my call sheet. But going back to the original point, why I brought up the per screen average. Jay Devlin choosing Jacqueline Bracamontes from Father Never Bothered. These movies do tend to be front loaded in the first 1 or 2 weeks for foreign films in platform release. So it wasn't a bad play in taking a headliner to fulfill his platform release actor requirement, but seeing how it was outperformed by Race, which also is cheaper I believe in 5,000 going up to 5,400 for your headliner. You probably could have even saved a little money, maybe gotten a little better of a film. Well, no. It seems like he's all in on Rings. Rings is his big bet, and in his strategy, I believe he's going for quantity over quality. If Rings does earn out to about 10.5, 11 million, he's gambling that one extra Rings performer will make up that gap of basically 3 to 5 million from Split, because Split is more expensive. So it's a strong play. I think I might even have a Rings heavy call sheet on one of the other contests. But Father Never Bothered, it was a missed opportunity here to save a little money. Probably could have spent up a little bit more for another Split actor. And this is going to be a weekend where 3 or 4 points could decide it. It's a very flat box office weekend. It's going to be very spread out as far as the box office goes. No runaway winner, as I mentioned earlier. So 2 or 3 points could make the difference. Okay, good call sheet though, Jay Devlin. I would say we're rooting for you because we like history over here in our fledgling game, but I want you to go down. As Al Davis used to say of the Oakland Raiders, the quarterback must go down. It must go down hot. All right, so let's see if I've got the firepower. Oh, and so one thing I wanted to discuss real quick. I was hoping to have Jay Devlin to bounce this off of this week, but it seems like he's unavailable for this micropod. But I tried something new this week. I'm actually kind of pumped about it. So I decided I was going to start because I've had an annoying habit of my best call sheets ending up in the Best Boy or some other smaller money tournament. And I mean, because last week my Best Boy call sheet ended up being the call sheet of the week. And the call sheet of the week, just to share this with you guys real quick, is a new feature we're trying out to promote a little more engagement. We want to promote, and actually maybe I'll make this even like a separate post on our corporate blog. But we include in the tournament results here at the end. Call sheet of the week, and basically we're showing off the call sheet that earns the most points over the week, over the previous weekend, after everything's all said and done. And as it turns out, your boy, he was the first call sheet of the week. What can I say? I think I edged out Jay Devlin by like 0.49 points or something crazy like that. But anyways, so I since I have an annoying habit of making the best boy my best call sheet, I decided I was going to work backwards. Going to start in the background talent with my call sheets and when I'm constructing them, and then work my way up so that by the time I get to the feature presentation, I've figured out what the game plan is that I'm going with for the week. So as you see with the background talent call sheet for me, it's a little bit all over the place. It's got some La La Land. It's got headliner stack of Split, headliner stack of Rings, well, actually one headliner from Race, a headliner stack from Lion, and then La La Land. It's a little messy. Now we're going to go to my call sheet in the feature presentation. So I've basically gone up the ranks from $10 to the $20 to the $30 to the $50 to the $125, and this is the call sheet I went with. And this also, I went with a similar type strategy that Jay Devlin did. As you can see, I've got a 7-pack of Rings. I've got Anya Taylor-Joy, the least expensive of the headliners from Split, and then I've got Lion. So this seems to be conventional wisdom, but I covered my ass with Race. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, Race, I mean, might be it's definitely the undervalued play of the week this week. If we go by per screen average from last weekend alone, Race had 6,000 per screen. So once again, if we were expecting a 40% drop from the 1.8 million it earned last weekend, then you're still looking at about 1.1 million, which would be 11 fantasy points on Cinema Draft, which at a headliner status would be, that math, 15.4 points. So this could be the difference right here. This little one right here. I'm out for you, Jay Devlin. Your reign is over. All right, let's take a look at a few other interesting call sheets real quick. These are my call sheets. Let's go to contests, live. Yes, and so everyone's getting for Jay Devlin, but and to his credit, he made himself a target. He's calling everybody out. We've got too much autocracy in our lives. Let's bring down this despot. Okay, let's see who else we can take a look at. Before I take a look at Mom's call sheet, let's not. Gamble 24/7. I mean, he's got a second income off this game. This guy is a perennial money leader. He gets it in. He does really well with these things. And so his strategy this week looks like, so he went with, I think I employed this strategy probably on the Best Boy, where I went heavy on Split and then saved money everywhere else. So he went with a 4-pack of Split, including the 2 headliners. He did a 4-pack of Race. Interesting. Okay. All right. That's very interesting. And then also he went with a headliner from Rings, Vincent D'Onofrio, and then so a 4-pack of Split, headliner from Rings, and then a 4-pack from Race. Very interesting. Oh, and then Lion. Lion is his Rooney Mara as the headliner from Lion is his limited release actor. I'm very intrigued by this call sheet. It's a very strong call sheet. It covers its bases with Split. So if you think that Split's going to make 13, 14, 15 million, and then you've got your headliners, and you've got basically you're expecting about somewhere in the range of 72 points from Split, from a 4-pack of Split, versus if you do a 7-pack of Rings like Jay Devlin and I did, we have the potential for about 80 to 85 points. So this is going to be a very interesting weekend to see how far Split outperforms. But he makes the difference in points with all this Race. If Race gets you 11 points for a non-headliner, I mean, he could be moonwalking into the top spot this weekend. I am very much looking forward to Saturday's posting of Friday estimates. We will learn a lot from the Cinema Score this weekend and Friday estimates. Also, I want to welcome back the return of Jaybird and his lovely wife Kelly. let's take a quick look at Jay Bird's call sheet, because he's one of the OGs. He was with us before we had a site, when we were just a spreadsheet-based game, and he played every week, and he won money damn near every week. So it looks like Jay Bird also went with a rings heavy call sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-pack. He also went with Father Never Bothered, which I think is actually this looks like almost the exact same call sheet as Jay Devlin. And actually, it pretty much is. And once again, I think where I might have a slight edge on them is getting Reyes over Father Never Bothered. That might be the difference between those call sheets. But then, of course, we still have Gamble 24/7's call sheet, where he's got the 4-pack of Split and the 4-pack of Reyes. So this is gonna be, oh my God, this is gonna be one of the closer weeks in this game's history. I can feel it. I can totally feel it. Can y'all feel it? I can feel it. Let's take a look at Kelly, his wife. She actually might be the better player at this, even though he's been playing longer. She is one of our all-time money leaders. Big ups to Kelly. Whoa! Okay, bold move. Kelly went with a 7-pack of Reyes. She's like, bump what you heard. All the values in platform this week. I'm gonna save 25,800 in budget and just go super low and then super. I am okay. All right. So just for new listeners, I have, as platonically as one man can have for another man's wife, I have a love affair with Kelly and the way her mind works. This is such an out of the box call sheet. It could work. As they say, it might could work. Okay, she's got the headliners of Race and 5 others. So she's basically saying, okay, if Race does 1.1 to say 1.3 million, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. This is a bold strategy. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's say Race does 1.3 million, right? So that's 13 fantasy points for each of her non-headliners, and then 18.2 for her headliners. So 36.4 between the two headliners, plus, that's sound of me hitting a calculator. So she could possibly squeeze 101 points out of Reyes. She conceivably could squeeze 101 points out of Reyes if this thing performs. And then she still has another 40 points each from the headliners of Split. This is so avant-garde. It could work. The only bone I have to pick with her is the comedian. It is Robert De Niro. It is on 848 screens, but and as it says here, look at the life of an aging insult comic. There is zero buzz on this sucker. I don't hear anyone talking about it. Look at it. It doesn't even show up on the top 10 of the projected box office weekend on Box Office Pro. So I mean, I still think, just on the strength of her race bet alone, Kelly could run away with this, or not even run away with this, but she could eke out a victory. But I think the only weak spot in her lineup possibly is the comedian, because then you have Lion, which most of us chose because it's expanding to 1,500 screens or something, and also it's got a little bit of an Oscar buzz. And Lion, I do believe, last week made 4,000 per screen, 2.3 million on 575 screens. So I mean, you're probably not going to see it decline much at all, if any. If anything, it's probably going to expand its box office a little bit. I would say, I might guess it might be, I don't know, maybe 3 million. So with 1 point per 500,000 in the limited release category, it's basically 3 million times 2. So you're looking at least 6 points. And most of us did headliners, so then you're looking at 8.4 points versus the comedian. I mean, if it's not even going to get 3 or 4 million, then you're only looking at, I mean, let's say it gets 2 million, they're only looking at 4 points. But still, I'm not even sure if she needs it. Kelly, I love this call sheet. It is so contrarian, but with a really well thought out process. I'm rooting for you. I want your call sheet to win more than I do. Just so long as someone brings down the beast that is Jay Devlin, I'm all for it. Nicholas Leeper, welcome from Seed Invest. Thanks for playing our game, trying it out. Let's see what he brought in. Okay. So he's all about La La Land. He brought in a 6-pack of La La Land. Also, headliner stack of Hidden Figures, decent. The Comedian, I don't know. As I mentioned, I think Lion's going to do better for it at that release type. And then I'm Not Your Negro. You know what? Big ups to you. And I mean, I've got a James Baldwin fetch. Oh, it's only on 5 screens. Okay, that's oh well. That is what it is. Okay, so I've got a bit of a James Baldwin fetish or whatever. I did my dissertation on him, my freshman English, my freshman comp class at Morehouse. So I must have read about maybe 10 of his books or whatever. I mean, he's just a brilliant writer. Another Country, Giovanni's Room, all that good stuff. I mean, he was really ahead of his time, and I'm really excited to see a documentary about him. It's only a play on 5 screens, which means it's probably only in New York or LA. Sucks, but definitely check it out when it comes to your town. It's definitely not in Vegas. Already checked. And if there was a movie I was going to go see this weekend, it would have been that one. So thanks for playing the game, Nicholas. Hope you have a good time. And then the last call sheet, so many interesting ones on this weekend. Cornell Westside, our boy, part of the Tripod. Let's take a look at the Tripod real quick. Cornell Westside. See what he was working with. Okay, so he has got he almost has a Noah's Ark call sheet, and that's what I call those call sheets with that goes 2 by 2. So he's got a headliner stack of Rings, headliner stack of Split, headliner stack of Reyes, and then he's got A Dog's Purpose, The Comedian, and I Am Not Your Negro. His weak spots are I Am Not Your Negro and The Comedian. And actually, I mean, all those other selections are really solid. I think he's going to lose some points in Father Never Bothered, The Comedian, I'm Not Your Negro, for reasons we previously stated. And I just want to share also another one of my favorite call sheets that I saw, just kind of perusing through the other contests. She's a new player. Now, big shout out to my girls, Steph Leva, Stephanie Wahomey. Oh, sorry, Stephanie Laster. She's got married. She is playing under the name, I believe, Slass. Let's take a look at her call sheet real quick. She's new to the game, so she might make some mistakes, but let's take a look at her call sheet. Representing Cleveland, Cleveland strong over there. And yeah, it's about what you expect from a new player. Kind of going. Not enough headliners for our taste, but I do love the I Am Not Your Negro love. But I do want to call attention to a call sheet that just made me smile. I mean, this is one of her friends, new to the game. I believe she's going by, was it Courtney LG, I think? And she had, I believe I saw in the background talent. That's where it was. Yes. And this one had. I mean, this one, yeah, Courtney or Clarissa Russell. There we go. And this was made me smile because whether she knew or oh no, this is I believe it's Courtney LG. That's who it was. Although Clarissa, welcome, also part of the Cleveland crew. This one made me smile because I saw all this. I'm Not Your Negro. No, it was Clarissa. My bad. I'm going back to Clarissa because when I saw what I basically saw this love letter to. to I'm Not Your Negro. I mean, when else will you get the chance to add to your call sheet James Baldwin and Malcolm X? I mean, I just love that. I love that. And you click on their actor detail, or actually that's movie detail. When you click on their actor detail and you get to see, the infamous Malcolm X photo of him, thinking with his hand on his head and stuff. I mean, what other game lets you roster Malcolm X? I mean, seriously, won't find that on DraftKings, y'all. You can't roster Malcolm X on DraftKings. So big shouts to Clarissa and the Cleveland crew. And I guess I'll pretty much wrap it up for this week. Once again, check for that cinema score with coming out of Friday results. Check for the weekend estimates, which will be notified in your email mailbox this weekend, Saturday afternoon. Have a great weekend, everybody. I am rooting for the Falcons. Damn it! #RiseUp. And everyone have a great weekend. And before the Super Bowl, go see a movie or something.